Wonder Woman is awful. Most people didn't seem to agree with that, guys, but we're going to see what it is that they have to say.
Wonder Woman is the worst DCEU movie so far.
Do you agree with that? That it's the worst DCEU movie? And what does he mean so far? Wonder Woman, this is a new video. So, I mean, like, I think that Wonder Woman got a lot more hype and praise than I thought it should have. I didn't think it was a bad movie, though. I put it at like a 7, 7.5, something like that. I don't know, let's see.
Maybe a hot take, since this was the best received DCEU movie when it came out, and seemed to give people a brief amount of hope for the DCEU.
There can be no true despair without hope.
But if you sit back and allow me to make my case,
God, am I going crazy? I feel like he's mixing DCEU and DCU. Am I Put it in the comments. I'm really confused what's happening here. Is he talking about the character? What? Am I crazy?
almost guarantee that you're gonna walk away realizing that this is one of the worst DC movies, because all of what I'm talking about is going to stack up. With that said, let's get straight into the movie.
I'm so lost, guys. Original link in the
With
description.
Wonder Woman as a character. While her acting is
okay.
lackluster and it makes it difficult to invest in this character,
He did say that the movie was the worst, right? Like, that's what he said, right? Am I crazy? Okay, what are we at? 37 seconds. Let's check this out. I gotta hear this again.
Wonder Woman is the worst DCEU movie. So
that's what he said. What? Guys, I'm lost.
It's still worthwhile to take a look at what the story was trying to do and see how much of that holds up on its own.
Okay.
A major point made by the story is that Diana is motivated to help others instead of sitting on the sidelines while people suffer or die. This is a central conflict she has with Steve Trevor, alongside other characters, even to a degree that's a bit naive.
I cannot stand by while innocent lives are
The
lost,
naivety was because she hadn't been in that world yet, with man, that is. So I don't really consider that a negative point, if that's where he's going with
willing
that.
to fight for those who cannot fight for themselves.
Once I find and destroy Ares, the German armies will be freed from his influence, and they will be good men again, and the world will be better.
You
Okay.
would knowingly sacrifice all those lives as if they mean less than yours. They fight alongside their soldiers. They die with them on the battlefield.
That's enough.
Yeah, I
All
mean,
of you should be ashamed.
she definitely made the point that she was willing to fight for those who couldn't fight for themselves. That's how Superman is too. Savior of the oppressed, friend of the oppressed, as the old golden age comics say.
He's wounded.
There is nothing you can do about it, Diana.
I cannot leave without helping them. These people are dying.
We can't save everyone.
Is
in
this going to
war.
be the rest of the
It's
video?
not what we came here to do.
No.
How much of this is there?
Now, this builds up to a part of the
Okay.
story that could have had a strong point to make. When Wonder Woman kills who she believes to be Ares, the war proceeds anyway, and people still make bad decisions.
Right.
Now, this would be a perfectly logical reason for Diana's character to change, and see the world from a more nuanced perspective.
I killed him, but nothing stopped.
They can stop fighting now. Why are they still fighting?
That's because maybe it's them. Maybe people aren't always good. Ares or no Ares. Maybe it's who they are. You don't think I get it after what I've seen out there? You don't think I wish I could tell you that it was one bad guy to blame?
I'm really confused, guys. Is this a point against it? You know what I'm saying? Like,
not.
But instead, Diana has a reaction that is egregiously out of character.
My mother was right.
They don't deserve our help.
Help me stop it right now, because if you don't, they will kill thousands more.
Okay, what? Even if Diana is conflicted about what to think, what makes her jump to the conclusion that the world doesn't deserve her help? The entire...
well, because they kept wanting to kill each other, and that's what she was trying to stop? Am I crazy? Like, I'm not a big defender of this movie. I've always said that I didn't understand why this did so well, why people rated it so high. I thought it was a good movie, but I didn't think it was fantastic, and I never understood it. I'm also, though, like, is that really that bad? Like, in her moment of, heat, they continue to do what she just killed this man for, and they're still doing it? I'm like, what?
reason she resents the bad people is because they hurt innocent people. So that suddenly means the world doesn't deserve her help? She's all of a sudden okay with letting thousands of people die just because of the actions of those responsible for war?
Well, but the ones pushing the bombs are the ones she's trying to save. They're still pushing the bombs, you see? It's not about that woman with her child. It's that she's looking out and she's saying, they're still doing it. I was trying to save them, those that are killing. I was trying to save them. And that's where the hero paradox comes from, is that, like Superman in the Superman movie, he was sitting there with Engineer saying, it's not too late for you. They want to do more than just save the victims. They want to save the people that are the suspects. I don't know. But they want to save the bad guys too. And that's when they get really hurt, is when they can't save everybody. I don't know. It's not even a bad concept to me. It's actually really good.
We're just supposed to let people die.
What happened to all that talk about defending those who can't fight for themselves? This reaction is so out of the blue and incongruent with every core trait they've established. Now, Steve
It's just like, it does though. It feels like it's a waste of your time because they're going to get to them anyway.
makes a great point about humanity that would explain why the war is proceeding anyway, but the movie proceeds to give us a different reason for why this is still happening.
I did not expect to see a video titled Wonder Woman is awful and be like defending Wonder Woman. Usually I'm having to go the other way and be like, it's not as good as you guys act like it is, you know? He's like swinging so far the other direction.
It's because
he's doing what Wonder Woman did. Wow.
Because Ludendorff isn't the real Ares, it's this other guy we vaguely know about. And once the real Ares is defeated,
really
all of a
cool.
sudden, the war is over, and the German soldiers are now confused and surrender in peace. That's all it took to end the war? How does this provide any meaningful takeaway from the story? Earlier,
He's the god of war. Like, I realize in real life we don't have a god of war, but he's the god of war. You destroy him, you destroy war. If she destroyed the god of sunshine, it would be dark all the time. Like, I mean, it's not that. Is it really? I feel like we're making it too hard. I don't know. I've reacted to SK videos before. I've never been this like, is it me? Am I the one? Am I the crazy? Put it in the comments, guys, if I'm crazy on this, or I don't know if this is overstretched or what. Let me
I
know.
said this part could have had a strong point to make, because Steve's message doesn't end up being the main takeaway, because the war is ended by defeating Ares, which supports Wonder Woman's view that he's the cause behind all of this. You can have Steve say it's not as simple as there being one guy to blame, but when the war is ended simply by taking out that one guy, that message is entirely undermined, and it undercuts an opportunity to make Wonder Woman's arc meaningful, because it ends up validating her naive and overly simplistic viewpoint on the world. It's both bad messaging and bad character development.
Okay, I'm following a little bit at this point. I would agree overall that yes, it is bad to get it into people's heads that life is that simple, that war is that simple. We've got some people saying stuff about things about war in the past decade or so, and I'm like, what kind of fantasy rainbow world do you think we live in? You know, I'm like, that's not how that would work, you know? And from that perspective, I can kind of see.
Which is enough for me to say that the main character is poorly written, and that the thematic messaging is broken. But this isn't even touching upon what I think makes this character irredeemably bad. To understand why, let's recall what her takeaway is at the end of the movie, which Steve had a hand in shaping.
I can save today. You could save the world.
You're wrong about them.
They're everything you say.
But so much more. It's not about desert. It's about what you believe. And I believe in love.
So remember, Diana believes in love, and to honor what Steve told her, she chooses to save the world. That's the mission she made for herself.
I used to want to save the world. To end war and bring peace to mankind.
Guys, I feel so lost. If I'm like missing something huge that he's pointing out, let me know, because I truly, when I clicked on this video, I thought I was going to be on this side, but I'm feeling like defensive, and I'm like, I don't even really think the movie's that great, but the points that he's pulling out, I feel like are overly analytical, maybe? I don't know. I'm not sure. I've got more video to watch, though.
But then I glimpsed the darkness that lives within their light, and learned that inside every one of them, there will always be both. A choice each must make for themselves, something no hero will ever defeat. Only love.
He keeps playing these clips.
Only save the world. This is my mission.
And they're great to me, you know?
Now, forever.
Amusing, but pointless.
Just one small problem. The world in the DCEU hasn't heard of her up until Batman v Superman and Justice League.
100 years ago, I walked away from mankind, from a century of horrors.
What?
Man made a world where standing together is impossible.
Oh, really?
Now, that's a different movie, though. So I don't really know how, I don't even have any defense or anything, other than that's a different movie. That's not the same movie, meaning not the same writer, I don't think. Let me know if I'm wrong about that. But it's a different movie, different director. So that stuff happens.
I thought it was your mission to use love to save the world. What happened to Steve saving today and you saving the world? What happened to striving to save everyone? There are so many implications that come with Wonder Woman's absence for this long. Wonder Woman would have allowed countless wars and atrocities to happen within history. Canonically speaking, she allowed the Holocaust to happen. Canonically speaking, she allowed the Bosnian genocide to happen. Canonically speaking, she allowed the Cambodian genocide to happen. Canonically speaking, she allowed the Palestinian.
But when she was in... Actually, she couldn't go back to Themyscira, right? So where was she? Okay.
Genocide to happen. I could go on and on.
But that doesn't mean that Wonder Woman the movie was bad. That means that Justice League or Batman vs Superman was bad, because it was like, you know, what? Why didn't you account for Wonder Woman a little better than that?
But the implications are pretty clear. Wonder Woman let millions of people die.
How many of you are ready to help me sock old Adolf on the job?
Not Wonder Woman apparently, even though she spent chunks of her movie grandstanding about not letting people die and putting yourself in the front lines.
You're saying the lives of a billion strangers?
And then she did it for 100 years. Okay, I'm starting
Say
to...
what you will about Superman being reckless, Batman being an executioner.
But again, that wasn't the Wonder Woman movie. If you only saw Wonder Woman, you wouldn't realize that. You watch Batman vs Superman, you start to realize.
Or the Flash stopping to talk, at least they showed up. Wonder Woman allowed genocide and war to happen for a century.
Good job.
She didn't even step in when the World Engine was about to destroy the world.
True.
Superman really could have used her help. She doesn't return until the events of...
Do we know where she was? I've never looked that far into it, guys. I'm really not sure where she was during all this. I know that whenever the Batman vs Superman thing happened, she was like on a plane, about to go somewhere. So I guess she's just been living life?
Batman v Superman.
Wonder Woman 1984. I don't even know.
Where the world is at risk of being destroyed, and only then she decides to become a public superhero. I don't know why Man of Steel wouldn't have caused this, or any atrocity in history for that matter.
But Wonder Woman 1984... I can't remember much about that movie.
The movie never condemns or even critiques her for this, as if they're unaware of how damaging these consequences are, and how badly this reflects on her character. You see why I think this is the worst DCEU movie so far?
I'm confused, yeah.
Now, the plot and world building are incredibly broken out.
But not about the movie itself. More about... He's more on about, like, the DCEU as a whole, how it integrated Wonder Woman, because the actual movie, if you just watch just the movie alone, none of this comes into play.
In the story as well. We're gonna start at the very beginning. The world building for the gods in Themyscira doesn't make any sense.
When Zeus led the gods to our defense, Ares killed them one by one until only Zeus himself remained.
Zeus used the last of his power to stop Ares, striking such a blow. The god of war was forced to retreat.
Well, in that case, you could be like, where the heck is Zeus? You know, what's Zeus doing?
But Zeus knew that one day Ares might return.
So, Zeus is gonna kill him, right? As we've learned, only a god is powerful enough to kill a god.
So Zeus left us a weapon, one powerful enough to kill a god.
With his dying breath, Zeus created this island to hide us from the outside world. Somewhere Ares could not find us.
What? What are you talking about?
It's not that bad.
So, instead of finishing off the god of war, Zeus decided to let him retreat.
But what is weird is that Zeus didn't do anything about all that stuff we just talked about.
Create Wonder Woman to kill him, then create an island to protect her. If you delivered a devastating blow, why not just kill him? Why bother with the island or the creation of Wonder Woman? It would take decades for Diana to develop and become powerful enough to even stop Ares. And what makes it even worse is that Diana's mom knows all of this, but doesn't want her to at least know how to fight.
No, Mother, I'm fine. I was just
training. Disobeyed.
That's a fair point.
By my own sister. You left me no choice.
She didn't want her to fulfill that destiny, I guess. If something ever happened, she probably thought, no, I'll do it instead. I don't want something to happen to her.
Hippolyta, you neglect your duty if she cannot fight.
You speak of a time that may never come. He might never return.
What?
Ares is still alive. Zeus created Wonder Woman because he could return at any time and endanger the entire world. This would endanger Wonder Woman herself if she's incapable of self-defense. The most I can grant her is that training with weapons at that young of an age is too far, sure, but the idea of not training at all defeats the entire reason Wonder Woman was even made, and puts her at more risk of actually dying.
He could have died from his wounds.
But you don't know that, and if he did, Zeus would have mentioned this. And by mentioning how bad his wounds were, that only makes it worse that Zeus didn't use his power to kill him off.
It is
They said that Zeus used the last of his power. So I guess he had to recharge. I don't know about the gods, guys. I don't know how they do that stuff, even in like DC and stuff. I was never real big into like the new gods and all that. I don't even know how that stuff works. So I don't. They said he used the last of his power, though. I mean, the last of his power.
Only a matter of time before he returns.
The stronger she gets, the sooner he'll find her.
In what way? I didn't realize combat training would result in a blip on Ares' radar.
Yeah,
he doesn't even know
weird.
this island exists. Zeus created that in order to keep her hidden.
But this is the only way to truly protect.
Wait. He's the god of war. So if she develops and is able to fight in war and all that, he would be a blip on she would be a blip on his radar, right? Right? Because like if he's the god of something, he would know all about that thing, right? I think that makes sense.
Her. You will train her harder than any Amazon before her.
That's all it took to convince her? How many times have they had this conversation where these same points would have been raised? This isn't something that takes an ongoing discussion to address.
Maybe it was age. Maybe she's realizing
this would have been addressed.
She'll be behind if she waits.
From the very beginning. And given how big the stakes are if Ares returns, this should be a conversation had early on. Having the mother completely flip makes it seem like she wasn't deeply committed to her position in the first place, and thus didn't take much convincing to be talked out of it. Especially when the pushback she's receiving are the most basic of points that would have been made from the start. This isn't a believable moral conflict if it doesn't take much effort to sway one side.
Okay.
Okay, how does this work? She didn't have those gauntlets the whole time. These were made to fit an adult. So that means something was built into the gauntlets to produce a blast like this.
I don't know.
Guess? How is this?
I've never understood that power, why she uses it when she does. I don't know. I'm not a Wonder Woman guy, you know? I mean, excuse me. I have no idea.
Unexpected if this was by design. If it wasn't by design, then how didn't they know she could do this? Did Zeus never detail what her abilities would be? I suppose he left them with no information on his creation? If he's able to detail so much history that enables the exposition dump earlier, then surely he would have mentioned what Wonder Woman's powers would be, so they're prepared for it. She could have
I need you guys to tell me in the comments your thoughts on the logistics of what he's talking about here. Some of it, I think he's got some points, but I feel like when he gets a point, he overindulges in the point, and it starts to become full of cracks. But the Zeus thing is, to me, a big, like, hole. However, how do you make a god make sense? You know, like, I don't understand, unless it's literally like,
accidentally killed any of the Amazons. Steve Trevor eventually ends up on the island and is
followed by
German soldiers. The Amazons notice this and both sides start shooting at each other randomly. What was the plan here exactly? They were hunting down the spy. Their target wasn't the Amazons. The Amazons have no idea who these people in the boats are, and they surely would be aware of the possibility that they might get visitors, considering nothing is stopping someone from accidentally entering. So why—
Yeah, he literally just put his face in. It wasn't that hard.
Why are they preparing to shoot arrows from the jump? This fight just comes out of nowhere, and this results in the casualties we see in the fight. As Steve is interrogated, we're shown some of his backstory. He witnessed—
Love them planes. I love World War I planes, guys. Those are so awesome.
Casualties we see in the fight. As Steve is interrogated, we're shown some of—
Look at that. That's awesome.
His backstory. He witnesses a testing of Dr. Poison's gas, and he's able to steal the data by opening a door and taking her notes? Why would she leave her room unlocked when it has important information on her work? Anyone could have stolen it. Steve informs them about millions of people already dead, and how this is a war without end. Diana remarks on this and says only Ares could be behind this.
I would like to know from people that have been in high military positions, do they keep every single door locked in every single office, like let's say the Pentagon? Or could you walk by somebody's office at some point, grab something like a file like that? Now, nowadays you can't because it's computer, right? But that is curious. How does that go in situations like that? When they're all top secret people. They're not supposed to be anybody there that's not top secret. So you should be able to trust to some extent. You know, I don't know. That's a really, really interesting point on that
We'll
one.
not deploy our army and leave Themyscira defenseless to go and fight their war.
What? That doesn't address the issue. Ares is likely behind this, and he had lots of time to recover. This affects all of you because this affects the world. The reason people showed up here was because they were in the midst of war. If Ares is playing into that, then this will catch up to Themyscira, especially—
Ares is god of war, so again, any war I would think he has some sort of a hand in. I would think.
Since she keeps insisting that Ares will inexplicably find Diana eventually.
Ares is behind that corruption, and stopping the god of war is our foreordinance. As Amazons, this is our duty.
But you are not an Amazon like the rest of us, so you will do nothing.
That addresses nothing of what she said. Ares is causing war, and you previously agreed to train Diana because you knew he would likely return one day.
Was that the point, though? She's trying to give her a cop-out answer. I mean, she doesn't want her to do her destiny. She doesn't want her to fall into that because she's afraid.
That was the entire point of her training.
Am I the only one who did the reading?
But then she eventually lets Wonder Woman leave because she knows she can't be convinced to stop. I don't know why she doesn't even agree to investigate what's happening or prepare with Wonder Woman upon hearing this information. They don't say a word about this until Diana gets caught trying to leave. What if Ares showed up that night? What's the plan then?
Well, they can't leave though, right? Isn't that a thing? I don't know.
Not a great plan.
There's also a nonsensical sequence that's meant to give Diana a disguise. So Diana arrives with clothing that can clearly conceal her sword and shield. She then tries on a series of outfits to draw less attention and eventually arrives at an option.
Oh, she's trying on outfit number 226.
Then she walks out of the building with her sword and shield out. This literally defeats the entire purpose of trying on over 200 outfits. Valuable time wasted that they could have.
Well, I thought it was cute. I thought it was funny. I thought it made sense because she's like, well, I'm a warrior. I'm not going to not wear, I'm not going to have my weapons, like, I mean, I thought it made sense because she's like, okay, you want me to wear your clothes, your world, fine, whatever. But she's there for a purpose, and the purpose isn't to shake hands.
Spent preparing to stop Ares, and Steve, for some reason, only noticed and did something when they were at the exit, rather than dealing with it when selecting outfits. Diana also doesn't initially agree to put the sword and shield down, which makes me question why she even bothered with the outfits in the first place if she agreed to do this.
Again, I think naivety is fine in this situation. She's like, oh, I'm a warrior. I'll wear your clothes, but this is what I need to use.
To avoid drawing attention. They proceed to form a team and travel to the battlefield. As the story progresses, we learn that Ares has been pulling the strings to brew this war. While many of the battlefield scenes are fine in isolation, the context surrounding them is hindered by everything we learn about Ares.
You were right, Diana. They don't deserve our help. All I ever wanted was for the gods to see how evil my father's creation was.
Earlier, it was stated that Ares was envious of mankind, so I assume this is the excuse he's giving to target them. But that throwaway line regarding his envy is all we really get to explain Ares' motivation to hate humanity. We can't grasp why he's envious of mankind to begin with, or what he has to be envious of.
I mean, guys, I'm not like a big supporter of Wonder Woman, but he's the god of war. That's what he's god of. War. He is going to make things so that they fight. That's what a god of war does. I think maybe he's missing that point because he keeps mentioning that and I keep getting baffled. I'm like, he's the god of war. Any war that happens, it's from him. It's him altering and manipulating things. Like he's aware of it. I don't know. I mean, maybe that's not how it works in this universe. I don't know, but that's what I see.
Especially since he himself is a god, who was in good company with other gods. It makes him very one-dimensional. There's very little to actually say about him as a character. He's ultimately a plot device in the story, and not a very effective one.
God killer. That is not the god killer. You are.
Why would he say this to her when she has intent to kill him? Why have her believe she can win a fight against him? The illusion of power and control over her would be diminished if she's actually aware that she was created specifically to defeat Ares.
You will help me destroy.
That's a fair point. Why would he tell her when her hope was just destroyed that the god killer, the way she could kill him, was gone? Why would he then say, don't worry about that. You're the one that can actually do it. Like, why would he do that? That is weird.
Them, Diana, or you will die.
See, this line...
I'd have to watch it in its context. He could be trying to manipulate her at first. I don't know.
Doesn't work if she is additionally told that she was created to kill Ares and that she can do so. I also don't know why Ares doesn't just kill Wonder Woman when he killed the other gods who opposed him. Why does he care to discuss this with her? Why drop all of this exposition where he reveals all of his plans? He knows Wonder Woman would never side with him and was made to defeat him by Zeus. Also, how does he even know that Wonder Wonder Woman was the god killer. He was forced to retreat and wouldn't have any intel on what Zeus was doing afterwards.
Mankind stole this world from us. They ruined it day by day.
Okay, that still doesn't address how Ares became envious of mankind. The world was still being ruled by the gods, and even if humans were making the world worse, Zeus wouldn't have enabled it. He created the Amazons to restore peace.
Maybe he's envious of mankind because they have fights. He's the god of war. Like, maybe he's like, I killed all the gods. What do I do now? You know, I don't know.
And when that happened, Ares still chose to kill the gods for defending the Amazons.
The gods created us, the Amazons, to influence men's hearts with love and restore peace to the earth. And for a brief time, there was peace.
But it did not last. Your mother, the Amazon Queen, led a revolt that freed us all from enslavement. When Zeus led the gods to our defense, Ares killed them.
Okay, who was enslaving the Amazons? I assume it was humanity? I thought Ares hated humanity because they were ruining the world in his eyes. So why didn't Ares enable the revolt himself? After all, that's an excuse to kill humans.
This video is a thinker, guys. It's a thinker. I really do want to know in the comments if you are 100% following him or if you feel like it's a, what's the word? I don't know, a push?
Why is he instead killing the gods for defending the Amazons? Why is this the reason for their fallout rather than a basis that he uses to convince the gods and Amazons? A fight afterwards would make more sense, but the exposition tells us that he decided to kill them immediately instead of talking to them, which is what he tried with Diana.
I'm not your enemy, Diana.
And like I said earlier, it's clear that Diana would never side with him. This is after Ares has made the choice to kill the gods, and he knew Diana was one of them, and created specifically to kill him.
When you first arrived, I was going to crush you. But I knew that if only you could see what the other gods could not.
Okay, see, that's what I'm saying. I said manipulation earlier. I've said I needed to see it in context. I feel like he thought he was getting into her head and thought this god killer, this weapon, this tool, could be very useful in my hands, the god of war. You see what I'm saying? He's the god of war, so he probably felt like I could be in control of this war device. It's not that crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Let me know if I'm crazy, because I really do feel like it makes more sense than he's letting on.
Then you would join me, and with our powers combined, we could finally end all the pain, all the suffering.
What? What are you talking about?
She literally went on a rant about how cowardly it is to sit back and not defend people. Her entire motivation is to defend the innocent people that are suffering from the war, not to kill humanity. Why would he change his mind about killing her? Also, since when did he need Diana to make humanity destroy itself?
See, I don't know. I feel like he wasn't trying to kill her. He was trying to figure out a way to manipulate her.
Ares is capable of feeding ideas to people throughout the world. If someone tries to counter me by saying that Diana can just cause lots of damage, you're forgetting that Ares does just that in the third act, and therefore doesn't need Diana to do this. He's the most powerful being on the planet by this point. He could kill the entire human race. Nobody could stop him. He literally states that only a god can kill another god. He has no personal, emotional, or practical reason to keep Diana alive. Diana proceeds to fight him and try killing him, and Ares is still wasting his time trying to reason with her, despite the fact he was ready to kill the gods for defending the Amazons. He delivers a heavy blow to Diana and, for some reason, allows her to talk to Steve for a good amount of time. She's literally
Okay, I didn't think of that.
Weak right now and can be taken out immediately. He could also stop Steve because he's only going to make efforts to stop the war. What's this ability? She can suddenly make objects disappear by just walking? Could she have done this to Doomsday or any parts of his body? What about while he was—
I'll say I don't like inconsistencies in powers. It bothers me all the time with Superman. That's one great example where Kryptonite made him, not be able to even do anything, and then all of a sudden he can overcome it and stab this dude. So many inconsistencies. That stuff bothers me a lot.
Weak to Kryptonite. What are the limitations for this? I'm sure this will be accounted for when we get to Justice League.
Well, this should be interesting.
That covers my general issues with the movie. I think this is the weakest DCEU movie so far, because Diana's character arc—
He keeps saying so far. I'm so confused, guys. He was talking about the DCU. What does he mean so far?
Is poorly executed, she is heavily character assassinated, and the thematic elements of her story are completely broken. The plot is a mess, and while its plot problems may not be as apparent as the ones in Batman v Superman, the world-building ones mess with the history of the universe. And at least Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and Suicide Squad had good messages in them, even if the execution wasn't good. The messaging in this movie stands out as the most problematic in comparison. That's all I've got for now. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Next, I'll be discussing...
Guys, this came out a day ago. Well, when I'm recording it, it probably will be out a few days whenever y'all see it. But it came out a day ago. He keeps saying in the DCEU so far, the DCEU is over. But he clearly has done his research. I mean, he's picked this thing apart in ways I don't even thought of, right? I am so confused by this video. Don't forget to check out my Amazon store with all sorts of Superman stuff in one place. Remember, guys, like Superman, live humbly, do good.